Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's not time for us to look at what the papers are reporting. Let's have a flip through. The Nation newspaper first says, troops hit terrorists in nationwide crackdown. Bandits commander, others killed. Woman terror suspect arrested. Victims rescued. The next newspaper is the Nigerian News Direct. Worsening insecurity, North unacceptable. Northern leaders demands overhaul of military leadership. Emergency security measures. Next is Abuja Inquirer. Tinubu supporters may cause unrest. DSS alerts X, formerly Twitter. Secret police pressure X to delete post. Amnesty Showore activists kick. Blueprint newspaper. Planned strike. Federal government summons Nupeng Dangote refinery to emergency meeting. Says a day industrial action will take Nigeria back to more hardship. We won't accept slavery in oil sector. That's according to Nupeng. Tanker drivers, DTCDA, back out. NLC kicks. The Punch newspaper, Nupeng versus Dangote. Union insists on strike, meet federal government. Others today. Labour Minister begs union to shelve industrial action. Marketers vow to shut filling stations back Nupeng. This Nigeria, strike. Federal government wades into the Peng Dangote field, calls urgent meeting. Leadership newspaper, fears of field shortages rise as oil workers begin strike today. A Nigerian Tribune still reporting on the same challenge between Nupeng and Dangote, saying Nupeng adamant as federal government calls for talks, urges truce. The Daily Times says the same thing. Fuel crisis imminent as Nupeng begins strike. Today, shuns federal government's plea. Daily Trust talks about the economy and the challenges of resuming. Schools resume amid biting economy. I know parents will be having jitters this current time. Now, the Guardian newspaper says National Grid faces 5.6 trillion naira revenue loss as premium customers exit. Platform Times, Nigeria risks becoming hub for weaponized disinformation. That's according to reports. 5.8 million YouTube views linked to pro-Kremlin campaigns. Experts call for urgent cybersecurity awareness regulation. Moving on to the Sport and Live, which appears to be last. In South Africa versus Nigeria on September the 9th. Eagles land in Bloemfontein. Hold training session today. I'll be doing this with my colleagues, Etoma and Ria.
That match is tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Absolutely.
The South African match is tomorrow, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So now let's get down to brass tacks. Etoma, looking at troops, the Nigerian Defense Headquarters, as well as the Department of State Security Service. You see, they said troops hit terrorists in nationwide crackdown. Bandits commander, others killed. Woman terror suspect arrested and victims rescued. And then we've been having, the fourth embark about insecurity across the nation. The northern leaders are saying that insecurity in the north is biting hard, and then they do not see an end in sight real soon. But meanwhile, the governor of Kano State is saying that no, we can't just see security like it's going to be, kicked out, at the top of a finger. But what say you to these onslaughts?
First things first, I am happy that they are hitting the terrorists left, right, and center, and they're doing it nationwide. I would suggest that those raids continue, relentlessly continue, because the more you hit them, the more they are doing. 63 people were killed over the weekend by Boko Haram and things like that. And so if the government is gaining grounds and hitting the terrorists where it hurts, they should sustain it. And it brings to the fore the disintegration of our security architecture in Nigeria. It is so necessary that we do that because DSS and the rest are succeeding because of information gathering. So imagine a situation where the security is decentralized and the security architecture in the regions are feeding the one in the center with information. It will be more effective. Let's do some more. Keep hitting these people, if possible, every day until they realize that, look, the narrative has changed.
And
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
I think that what you do consistently, you'll definitely be top at it. So if this is done consistently, I think at the end of the day, you know, we'll see good results. Not that you do something in 2 weeks, 1 week, you've stopped. These people need to know that we are not joking. Like, they need to know that we are on them. And I feel like they need to be eradicated at this point. The level of insecurity, that story about the people that it hit me, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw it, I'm like, wow, again. Because we always speak about insecurity every day. I don't think there's any day on this table that we do not speak about insecurity, but we keep hearing more things happening. So I think that this is a time that we are consistent with the actions that we take.
Absolutely. So I still want you to, you know, react to the Nigerian News Director that says worsening insecurity in North unacceptable. That's according to northern leaders. Demands overhaul of military leadership, emergency security measures. I do not know whether you also buy the same line.
Yeah, it's unacceptable in every way. I remember the last time we were having a conversation, the Katsina government had said that, you know, if in 2 months, if he's given the right power in 2 months, he'll be able to eradicate, you know, insecurity. And I feel like he has said something. Let the power be given to him and let's see what can be done. Everybody that has, you know, a say or an idea to make it better should come in. Because the level of insecurity, we cannot keep waking up every day and hearing that people are dying. And not the fact that because we don't know these people are families to people. Do you understand? It may not really hit me because I don't know them, but what about their mothers, their brothers, their sisters? I feel like it's high time we get this human angle and know that this needs to be eradicated totally. So anybody that is speaking about, you know, eradicating insecurity, I'm for the person. That's my friend.
Absolutely. Toma, let's move on to the Abuja Inquirer. Shore's tweet: Tinubu supporters may cause unrest. DSS alerts X. Secret police pressure X to delete post. And then we have Amnesty, Shore, as well as activists, you know, kicking, you know, against the call by the DSS. You know, Shore has posted, you know, I think one of the posts that he made was when the president went to Brazil, and then he used the word criminal on the word on the president,
He always
says saying that he's gone to Brazil, you know, and then, you know, Shore in his element whenever he talks. And do you not feel that this is someone who is going overboard, and then he's been accused of cyberbullying, you know, the person of the president? Because, you know, if you want to make criticism, you should be, you know, reasonable in the way you use the online medium, and not to feel that you have liberty or license to, you know, lampoon anyone in that manner. Yes,
I think Showore should be dealt with as an individual in this case, because what he says on X or any platform that he uses doesn't represent the general feeling of a lot of people in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
So
he's been heavily criticized, you know, for
so it is him that is blowing hot air. So it is him that should be held accountable. You know, it doesn't really look well when a government is trying to get a platform like X to delete messages. You know?
We remember what happened during the Buhari regime that got Twitter at the time, you know, fired. I mean, banned, you know, from the Nigerian, you know, cyberspace.
Yes, if you want to do that, you know, you have worldwide criticisms, especially when the country is running a democracy. If so-called democracy. If the country was being ruled by a dictator or a military regime, people wouldn't say so much. But a democratically elected government banning a platform like that.
No, but if the platform is allowing, you know, such...
Exactly, but my I don't want to say my plea, I want to say my advice to Showore is that you can criticize somebody without insulting the person. The kind of words he uses are not appropriate. See, you can tell somebody you are a madman, but in a nice way. So, but...
And the person will laugh.
And the person will even laugh at it. But the way he goes about his words, I'm surprised. Like, doesn't he know more English? Doesn't he know more subtle English than just going hard like that? Exactly, there's a dictionary.
You see, that man is looking for following.
Well, you can't look for following at the detriment of insulting somebody with those kind of statements.
A lot of people do that so that they will get some kind of cult followership. You know, and so on. But for me, I think Showore has really crossed his boundaries. He has been
crossing the boundaries, actually.
And he should be dealt with accordingly.
People see him differently. You know, he sees himself, you know, one way, but people actually see him differently.
He will always see himself the way he thinks.
What sort of human is this? All right, now let's move on to the Blueprint newspaper as well as the Punch newspaper, This Nigeria, Leadership newspaper, and then Nigerian Tribune. Plus the Daily Time. I think a whole lot of them, you know, talked about what we discussed this morning, which is the new peng and the strike. So, you know, against the backdrop of what we started off with, because it's so concerning, so much so that we found it very important to start this show with. Do you think that there might be end to this crisis at the end of it? Because no one can stop Dangote from doing his business, legitimate business, you know, ensuring that there is oil flowing on the streets of Nigeria, across, from north to south and east, etc. How do you think we can largely resolve this? And it's so good that the president is saying that we have even reached our target beyond the non-oil, thing.
Yes. You see, as I said once on this table, a problem is a solution that's waiting to be discovered. I think there's a common ground for both parties to meet each other and shake their hands there. Strike, because of its consequences, is not the way to go. It might be a threat, it might be a legitimate threat that will make people that are supposed to say something actually say it. And if that is what Nupeng is looking for, they've gotten the attention of the federal government, and they've gotten the attention of the regular Nigerian citizen on the streets. Strike even for 4 hours is going to be so devastating. Right now, because we are talking about it, it's on the pages of newspaper. You can't flip your phone without seeing something like that. You're going to see what will happen today. We're going to see queues. There's going to be panic buying. There's going to be a whole lot of things. I believe that both Nupeng and Dangote should slow down and listen.
And it's those queues that annoy me the most, like, because these are Nigerians suffering just to get fuel with their money. Imagine queuing and suffering to get fuel with your money. Like I said earlier on, I feel like in times like this, we should not just run to strike. We should think about Nigerians. We should think about what Nigerians will go through, if this happens. And I'm very happy that the federal government was swift, to come into this and say, let them have a conversation. There's nothing dialogue cannot do. When you sit and you talk together, you definitely come up with a solution.
For me, this meeting would have held yesterday, not today.
Well, the sad thing is that people always, especially petroleum marketers, they always rush to jack up the price whenever they hear,
And that's the Nigerians. We are the ones doing ourselves at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then if something is now done to resolve the matter,
we keep saying government, but we're the ones doing ourselves. We're the ones wicked to our fellow Nigerians.
Let's talk to a parent, Yeah, I think we are two parents.
Oh, okay. Ibrahim, what are you trying to do? Very soon.
No, it has a reason, and then you get to know.
Yeah.
You get to know. Schools resume amid biting economy, and then I know that this would have sent jitters to a whole lot of parents who especially have their children in private institutions, private schools, primary, secondary,
university. And then, please don't forget that.
Yeah, well, universities are having their selves being taken care of.
Yeah.
But we have the younger ones who are going into school, and we know how difficult it is, especially for those that are in private school.
My dear, it's not just students that are parents that have kids that are in primary and secondary school. Those of us that have kids in universities are feeling the bite even more.
Yeah, private university.
Private university. Right. Because when they started, the prices were okay, you could manage, but where accommodation and feeding for a semester is as high as 1.4 million naira, 1.5 million, you've not even paid tuition, you've not done departmental fees and all that, and you have to keep some money aside for medicals. You have to keep some money aside for miscellaneous. So you are looking at one semester, you are looking at 4-5 million naira, and I'm not talking about the British American University, all those universities that are very expensive right from the beginning. So if that is the case, imagine those ones that are in primary and secondary school. Imagine young parents, that have children in primary and secondary schools, that have 4-5 of them in primary or secondary schools. Boys biting.
Yeah, that is when we need to. That's when we need this conversation about what are we doing about the public schools, because private schools are now seeing it as business ventures, because some parents are seriously lamenting because they want the best of educations for their children. So what should the government do? The public schools should be the go-to for anyone, so much so that people will have to remove their children or wards from private school and put them to public school because of quality education that we used to have.
I tell you something. So in Ghana, there's the Achimota Girls. It's a public school, but that is the best school that you can go to. I feel sad that my mom, I didn't go to that school, because it's with pride. When you say I went to Achimota Girls, they salute you, they give you some pride. I feel like it's high time that we make our public schools better, good education, good system for them to learn. Because trust me, these private schools are now taking this thing. I don't want to say extorting, but I told me when you hear some of the fees that these parents have to pay, it's not a joke. I understand that education, the quality of education is good, but the fees are not a joke. We know how the economy is saying right now. I think that there's a lot that needs to be done in our private schools. Most of the private schools and most of the public schools we see, you know, it's not conducive enough for even the students to learn well. You know, you cannot put me in a school that is hot or something, expect me to learn properly. I wouldn't. So I just think that it's high time that we now look into our public schools, make them great, get great teachers, you know, so that people can be able to afford education, get quality education, but still be able to afford it. And if your parent is paying your school fees in a private school, you should salute your parent. It's not a
Let's
joke.
move on quickly.
Let me shake you for the great job that you're doing. Well done. Ibrahim is not there yet.
Don't worry, don't worry.
You're coming. You're coming.
All right, the Guardian newspaper, National Grid faces 5.6 trillion naira revenue loss as premium customers exit because of inadequate power supply, and then we're having the elite was supposed to be paying for the, you know, the service rendered by the Gencos, transmission companies, TVC, etc. They're now moving on to alternative power sources. Even some governors are now signing, you know, onto that contract. So much so that they are now leaving us to be paying for these amounts of tremendous deficits.
You know, you look at that situation and you wouldn't blame anybody that wants to get out of the national grid. You know, if you're in band A, you know what you're paying, and you may not be getting the supply as promised. You know, so if you can afford solar, you can afford any alternative, and get yourself off the national grid, you know, you'll want to do that. But the cost of those alternative sources of power supply limits it to only those that can afford it. So you and I will keep paying back.
And you know the thing, me, I'm crying because me, I've not seen light. My light, you see, in the afternoon there's light, in the night there's
no, you can't say that. No, you're part of the bandit. Sorry, you're part of the bandit.
I'm not a bandit.
You're part of the bandit. No, we call bandits.
No, but Ibrahim, the other day we had the, I was about to say ECG man. The other day we had the NEPA man here. I was speaking to him about band A. We are not even seeing light like that. We are still paying bills. I remember the other day I was almost fighting with my caretaker. Why did you bring me this bill? I didn't see light. So I feel like even the light is not stable first for the amount of money that we pay. But right now we are all going to suffer. You are band A and band A. So right now I think that what I want to do is that, let me tell you, I want to go and get a lantern right now and get because I don't think I can afford it.
Yeah, but I think for my own area, we've been migrated from band C to band B.
You were band C before?
Yes. We've been having, even during band C, we used to have, you know, reasonable amounts of power supply. But on Saturday, the light went off. Yesterday, we didn't have light through Saturday and yesterday.
That's band B or C?
So no, they had to restore it sometime later tonight. But I burnt lots and lots of fuel, you know, just to keep things
You have
running.
money to buy fuel, that's the thing.
well, if you need it, you have to, you know, pay through your loan. So, but the challenge there is, how much are we doing? Because, you know, we've been having deals, you know, signed by the government home and abroad, and then there's this act that is decentralized or deregulating the power sector, so much so that states will generate their own electricity. I think it has been put on hold, you know, because of one way or the other, one bottleneck or the other. But what exactly do you think? The power sector is really jinxed. Are we going to, you know, find an exit?
The power sector is not actually jinxed. There's been a monopoly for too long. That's the problem with the power sector. And then the infrastructure in the power sector are dilapidated. Let's call it spade a spade. Those things were fixed in the 70s, and we've not really had a full turnaround maintenance on those things, or even change of wires and everything. So there are times we have...
I call them cobwebs.
I'm not there.
At times we have a whole 33 kVA pole falling down. And then the people where that pole services will be in darkness for very long time before these things are fixed. Decentralization of the power sector is the smartest thing to do, and I want to commend the government for even thinking about it and doing something about implementing it. Though it's having some issues here and there, I believe that those issues will be taken care of, because for us to have a good power sector, we really have to decentralize. I always remember, and I always want to remind people that power is the biggest catalyst for small and medium scale businesses.
That's right.
That is the biggest employer of labor anywhere in the world.
Without light, what can you do?
So
You can basically not do anything without light. But I will even say that the federal government has even tried, because at some point, you know how the grid was always falling. It will go like this, it will go like it will go like it will go like. But right now, at least we are still seeing that, you know, it's stable a bit. It's been a long time I heard that the national grid has fallen.
I think you have infrared light that she can see how the wave of electricity, you know, the electrons that they move. All right, let's move on to the next paper. We still have so much to talk about.
If you give me this topic, I will talk to the end of the show.
Of course, it's very, very key, very, very germane, because, you know, we are now having the SMEs, you know, that are the one, you know, bearing the brunt. Those of us, individual or private users.
So even me, I can tell you, the reason why I said I'm very passionate about this, because I recently opened a printing company, and sometimes there's no light. I need to run the generator. I need to run. And if I'm facing through this, and what about other smaller companies?
You even have to burn diesel.
Exactly. The people that are selling this cold store people, like they're the ones I even pity the most. Like, how are they going to, you know, sell their business? So it's really, it bothers a lot. In every, I feel like it's time that we now start having steady light. If Ghana is doing it, why can't we do it? Our brothers and sisters, why can't we do it?
Yes, and then Ghana is taking care of about 20 million, you know, population.
Yeah, right? Of course. I know
so
that
we're
that
about 250.
250.
But we can.
So when we talk Nigeria,
we can start small.
The demographics. No, listen. The demographics between Nigeria and Ghana.
Yeah, just taking care of Lagos in Ghana State.
As far as electricity is concerned,
yeah, because Ghana is just like a state in Nigeria.
Yes, they will come for you. I'm not there.
The thing is so different. We have a very large population. We have a lot of land to cover.
That's right.
The logistics are humongous. The infrastructure that you need to give Nigeria the kind of light that you say, the kind of electricity power. We keep calling it light. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's light. It's light. Yeah.
That you need to have a steady power supply. With the realities on ground, I want to commend the managers of the power sector. They really do try.
Yeah.
You know, I pray that we invest more. You know, and this decentralization will attract investments in the power sector, because now you're talking about doing this deal with one state, and you're not talking about the whole federal government. Yeah. The space is smaller, the terrain is more understood, and so on. So this decentralization, whatever bottlenecks there are, cut off the bottleneck.
We need to address it, because when we talk about development, we cannot do that, you know, except that we fix the power sector. All right, let's move on to the platform times, and I think we have lots of stories, you know, to chew on here. But let's start off with the screaming headline: Nigeria risks becoming hub for weaponized disinformation. It's according to reports. 5.8 million YouTube views linked to pro-Kremlin campaigns. That's talk about pro-Russia campaign, and then experts call for urgent cybersecurity awareness regulation.
Yes, just like every other thing, when it comes to Nigeria, it is flooded. You know, we have a lot of Nigerians using the cyberspace and so on. And because we do not have jobs the way we should have, a lot of Nigerians are moving towards the cyberspace to get jobs. There are applications like Fiverr that will retail production jobs to anybody anywhere in the world. Now you will get a job that says, write a script for me or do this production for me, but you don't really know the reason for that production. All you know is that you have a job and you'll be paid in dollars. You know, so you want to do it very fast, and a whole lot of Nigerians are that. Now, if Russia sees a market there to sell their disinformation to the world, they are just taking advantage of it.
Okay. All right, Ria.
And when you talk about this, I totally agree with you, because I feel like when it comes to misinformation, apart from even Russia or anything, we see it a lot happening in Nigeria. Right now, anything I read, I don't believe until I check. Or I'll just tune in and go back to TVC News to make sure that is the correct thing. Because right now, you cannot even trust, you know, what you see on social media, what people write. I say something, it's not being fast to, you know, break the news, but being fast to break the right news.
That's right.
And a lot of people don't have jobs. So when they give you something, you just run for it. You know, whatever they give you, you don't care what you're writing, you don't care what you're doing.
But you know, very quickly, I see it differently, because I want to say that this report is actually also sponsored by those who are pushing their own agenda. That's talking about the West. Because when we talk about when Africa was colonized, it was done by the West, and then the evil that we've been experiencing at the time, even up until now, was perpetrated by them. So now realigning with Russia, Brazil, and all of that, they are also pushing pushing disinformation to make us hate Russia that never colonized Africa.
That's a very good way of looking
Exactly,
at it.
that never colonized Africa. If Russia comes to, I think one of the leaders of Africa said, when Russia comes to Africa, you know, you get hospitals and all of that. But when America and the West, when they come, what you get is lectures. Let's quickly move on to the last one. The Sporting Live. South Africa and Nigeria, Eagles land in Bloemfontein, hold training session. We defeated Rwanda. Yeah. You know, strong. Well, it was more like
Please give it to them.
So we have South Africa, you know, to go very quickly.
And I hear South Africa right now, the leaders of the group, and that's why Nigerians are not celebrating. Because we're waiting to hear the scores between Nigeria and South Africa so we can finally celebrate.
No, I'm celebrating because I trust them. I trust that they'll deliver. Let me do my predictions here. The match is going to be 2-0. South Africa 0, Nigeria 2. Take it from me.
I will say that we take it as gospel and then we pray that it actually happens. But Samson Siasia is, you know, is concerned about the formation. That, you know, we're not really playing well, especially from the right wing. But we see how it goes at the end of the day.
Fingers crossed. I'm rooting for them.
Go Nigeria. That's about it for the newspapers up for review. We hope that we've updated you on the information that you deserve to know. Still to come on TVC Breakfast. Federal government intensifies monitoring and screening procedures at all points of entry. Join us for this conversation